And well, hello, my dear viewers, my dear friends. Welcome to what was supposed to be one of yesterday's videos, but I was busy yesterday, so it comes today. Now, the first one I'm going to bring you today is a little bit of a theory I came up with and my girlfriend as we were going on weekend. The idea is basically, and as you can see by the title, it revolves around Pudding's Devil Fruit Awakening. Now, I know that the awakening of the devil fruits is still a fairly new concept and something that seems to us like a very hard thing to reach, but I think it could be viable in the situation that I think it could be used in. Now, as a recap, Pudding's fruit, the Memo-Memo no Mi, has the ability to reach into a person's most recent memory, at least as far as we know. We don't know how far the user can reach in the victim's memory, but let's just say in a near fragment of memory and alter it as they see fit. As we've seen with Pudding using it on Reiju, she was able to alter their memories of Reiju knowing everything about her and what she has done to her. However, the fruit is not flawless. If the user is caught doing the altering, a third party can tell the victim that the memories were fake, and depending on the degree of trust between both parties, the fruit is rendered useless. Also, the victim also has a sense of misconception or misdirection when remembering the memories, because they can also think that something is wrong. So far, we've only seen one named technique of the Memo-Memo no Mi, which was edit, in which Pudding just simply pulled out Reiju's memories, copy, pasted, edit, done. However, what I propose is a technique called reset, which I think it could not only be used to delete a larger portion of memories, but also to achieve a wider audience, so to say. The idea is, in the midst of the confusion caused by the fights that are occurring and the possibility of the Tamatevaku exploding, which I've said in, I believe, not the last, but on chapter 869, I believe I've said it, that the Tamatevaku would explode when it hit the ground. And maybe that will happen in this week, we don't know. In the midst of that confusion, I believe that Pudding will be able to use that technique. Now, the technique will work similarly to how edit worked. She will be able to pull the memory frame and cut it, but that's it. She will not alter it. She will simply delete it. Thus, it's kind of like it is a reset. So that's why I decided to call it reset. And what memories will she be deleting, you ask? Well, the memories of the wedding. I don't know if it will be possible for her to go as far back as to when the wedding was called, because that would be way far back. Like, as soon as we know it, this wedding has been in planning for at least 3 years, ever since the time that news of Sanji being in the Straw Hats crew were around. So that makes it at least 3 years old. So for her to be able to erase 3-year memories would be kind of a stretch. Maybe she could just delete memories of the recent events of the wedding, like from the point that the wedding went wrong. So maybe she could erase memories of a specific person, and thus erasing memories of Sanji and possibly the rest of the Straw Hats, which would again pose the question of what happens to Luffy's statement to Big Mom. The theory is not solid by any means necessary. I didn't say it was. It was just an idea that I thought. And also, there's probably no need for an awakening. But it could be more explanatory to the sudden increase of power of the Memo-Memo no Mi. Because we know that it can work on one person alone, but it needs the person to be restrained for it to work. Because if the person can fight back, then there's no point in the fruit. The awakening would give it that much needed power up to counter all the weaknesses. The fact that the victim needs to be tied down, the number of victims that it can affect, which is, I assume it could be maxed to one, just one, because she needs one hand to pull the memory frame and another one to cut it. So, and let's assume that only she can cut it. Only the user of the fruit can cut the memory frame. Much like, as far as we know, only Gecko Moria could cut the shadows of the person. If someone else would go there with a scissor, with a pair of scissors, they wouldn't be able to cut the shadow. So that's why I proposed the idea of awakening for the Memo-Memo no Mi, because it would give that much needed power up. So this is it. This was a very, very quick idea. Do you think that Pudding has what it takes to awaken her devil fruit and to use it as a last line of defense for Sanji and the rest of the Straw Hats and Capone gang badge as well? She could even just erase the events of the wedding, make it so that everyone thinks they married, and then in the meantime they go away. If they ask why they got away, well, she could make something up. That wouldn't erase the anger for Luffy and the others, but it would allow them to escape, at least for now. Because as I've said many times before, and as I believe, they should not defeat Big Mom this time. They are not ready, they don't have the full crew. It would make no sense to have them defeat a Yonko without the full crew. That's a saga that we need to see with the full crew. There's battles to be done with the full crew on. You can argue that, oh, but they have another supernova there. They have Capone. Capone is barely hanging now. Capone is very, very hurt. And even with the Van Smokes, even with Capone, I don't think that they should kill Big Mom now. I think we are best off waiting until they supposedly defeat Kaido, and after that, and only that, can they move forward to Big Mom. In the meantime, she may even be defeated by another Yonko. I believe that she could be defeated by Blackbeard, because imagine that, we've seen in this saga Luffy getting the poneglyphs. What if Blackbeard comes after and a fight ensues, we don't see it, and after a few sagas, Blackbeard comes and one of his members has the Soro no Mi. Imagine that. Like, how messed up it would be. But that's not the point of this theory. I was already going astray, like way off the intended path. But that is it for this small idea. Do you think that Pudding has what it takes to awaken her devil fruit in the midst of all of this confusion? Do you even think it's necessary? Well, necessary it is, but do you think it's necessary for her to use such a technique to allow them to escape? Why would she even do that? I tell you, because she was a little flustered when good old Sanji caught Nami on his bare arms. And she has fallen a little for our very nice gentleman cook after what he said to her. But that is it. We've hit the 10-minute mark, and that is a perfect time to finish this video off. I'll see you coming right away on my first impressions on the new game, on the upcoming game of the 7 Deadly Sins. Bye bye.